All right, people. We've had a good look at the first round of the NBA playoffs. We've had a good look at all the teams. Some series are already over. A couple still have a game or two left to play. I'm actually watching Pacers Hawks, the end of it right now. That's pretty much over. So I thought I'd shoot a video because I haven't made a video since the playoffs started. So let's start with the top. Some point over the next week, I'm going to try to make my website because I've been planning on making a website for a while. And I'm just going to use it to post stuff about video games and sports and movies. It's going to be kind of like an extension of the YouTube channel. So when I make the website, I'll definitely make videos about it. So you guys have the opportunity to see that. And I'm going to post an extended article about this Miami Heat team. But obviously they just swept, but the short version of that article is this Miami team can no longer just be satisfied with winning the title, which I think they will do this year. The goal is now to become one of the greatest teams of all time. The 96 Bulls, the 86 Celtics, the 87 Lakers, the Heat, their challenge now is to put their name amongst those teams. So if they win the title this year, but they lose 7 or 8 postseason games along the way, like maybe they beat the Knicks in 7 or the Spurs in 7 or something, then some of the mystique is going to be ruined. I want to see them really just run roughshod over the rest of the playoffs and try to lose less than 4 games. I think that if they can pull it off, a 4-loss or better postseason, they put their name up there with those teams. So I'm going to go into further detail about that in an article later this week, but that's the idea. We could be watching history right now. It's up to Miami and what they do the rest of the way. With that being said, everything is going Miami's way right now. They got the sweep over Milwaukee, and I thought Milwaukee was going to take a game from them. They didn't. So that's going their way. That gives them extra wet rest. That gives them an extra opportunity to watch these other teams tire themselves out. You have, where do I even start? The Knicks blew that game tonight, and I don't even know what to say, but the Knicks have to be getting very nervous right now. They're going back to Boston for a Game 6, and I put it squarely on the shoulders of J.R. Smith. The suspension was ridiculous enough, and in my opinion, the fact that he did that with all the progress that he supposedly made, all the growing up that he has supposedly done, for him to go and get suspended for a series-ending Game 4, what can you even say about that? It just shows that he is still a very immature player, and in my opinion, if I was an NBA GM, I would have serious concerns about giving him any kind of serious money. And this was after him having such a great season where he kept his head down. And then tonight he goes out there and sucks it up until basically the game was over. He hit a couple of threes, but he was terrible the whole game, more or less. And now I really think that series is going to go 7, and I do think the Knicks will win. But they should have swept Boston a couple days ago and been over with this. And I put it squarely on the shoulders of J.R. Smith. I mean, other players have struggled, but that happens. But there are things that shouldn't happen, and throwing an elbow in garbage time of a blowout at, a Celtic is not acceptable. And I'm disappointed because I really thought he had turned a corner. Continuing with that thought process, though, you have the Pacers-Hawks. And those teams are tiring each other out. That series looks like it might go 7. I think it's going to go 7 now. I think the Pacers will win. But the fact that those two teams are having to play so many games is, it's going to take their toll in a future postseason series. And, of course, you have the Bulls and Nets, which I think has been a tremendous series. I've had a lot of fun watching it. A lot of fun watching Joakim or whatever Noah limp around with plantar fasciitis and still be a very effective player. I mean, people hate him, and I know why they hate him, but he is a gamer. There's nothing else you can say. The fact that he's going out there and playing as well as he is at maybe 60% health. Obviously, you have the Nate Robinson game, and Nate Robinson is a fellow University of Washington alum. I graduated from there. He graduated from there. One of my friends from college actually has an older sister that Nate Robinson one time actually asked out, and she said no. So there you go. But Nate, I've never been a fan of Nate Robinson's game. I don't think he's much of a player at all. I think all he can do is score whenever he gets hot, and honestly, you could say that about any player in the league, and if he's not hot, he's just a worthless piece of junk out there. And to me, I look at that and I go, I wouldn't want him on my team, because if he's not feeling it, then he's just wasting possessions on terrible shots. But there is no denying how great that game was, and I watched it live. I kept watching it after it looked like the game was well in hand. The game was over, and sometimes you can't explain it. I mean, he hit a one-handed runner from just inside the three-point line with two hands in his face. You can't explain that stuff. It just happens. And I think the Bulls are going to gut out this series in 6. But the point is, those 3 series, they've all gone long. They've all been exhausting. And while the Nets and Bulls is only going to go 6 games, I think. It could go 7 still. I'm not ruling it out. The triple overtime game, I mean, that's exhausting in and of itself. Players collapse on the floor when that game's over. Triple overtime, but it's just, I really see whoever Miami plays in the second round, it's going to be the Nets or the Bulls. You're talking about, if it's the Bulls, and I think it will be the Bulls, it's a team that is missing their best player. Their second best player is playing injured. Luol Deng, I don't think he's been that good in this postseason series. Maybe he'll turn it around. I don't know if Kirk Hinrich is going to be healthy. They're depending on, they might have to give actual important game minutes to guys like Vladimir Radmanovic. They're depending on offense from Nazir Mohammed. Or they're going to play this Nets team that I think lacks toughness, and I don't know what they lack. They just lack something. Like, it's a very pedestrian, missionary position team. They are a good team. They are a 45-win team. I think they won 45 games in the regular season, but they are a good team, but there's something very ordinary about them, and they just had to play 6 games against a very tough Chicago Bulls defense. Possibly 7 games against a very tough Bulls defense. And to me, I look at that and I go, Miami should sweep either of these 2 teams, and no more than 5 games. And anything more than that, and I'll definitely question my thought that this Heat team could be one of the all-time greats. So you have that. And then, of course, when they get to the conference championships, you know, they're going to play the Pacers, they're going to play the Hawks, they're going to play the Knicks, or they're going to play the Celtics, and we'll see how tired those teams are when we get there. But I have a feeling that whoever gets there is going to be exhausted from another 6 or 7 game series. So you go over to the West. You know, I'm not here to diss on the Lakers for embarrassing themselves and their franchise. I didn't even watch Game 4, because once I saw that they were missing their 5 best backcourt players, more or less, you know, Metta World Peace, Bryant was already out. I think Steve Blake was out. I believe Nash was out. I'm not sure if they had Jody Meeks or not, but it's just kind of like their backcourt is Darius Morris, and I don't even know. It's embarrassing. You know what's going to happen. But I will say that you have to have some serious questions about Dwight Howard going forward, and I think he will re-sign with the Lakers. I think he's too good of a player for them to just let go for nothing. They gave Bynum to get him. I think they have to keep him, but for me, it's just like getting ejected in the third quarter of that last game. It's like, who does that, you know? It's too bad. Dwight Howard used to be one of my favorite players in the league. What else do we got here? The Nuggets, Warriors, fantastic series. Very excited for Game 6 tomorrow. I never thought I'd see the day when a jump shooting team like the Golden State Warriors could survive without becoming something different. But Stephen Curry and yeah, Stephen Curry and to some extent Klay Thompson, they are so good at what they do. It doesn't matter that they don't play the way us NBA fans would rather have them play sometimes. It doesn't matter. They're that good. They are the best shooters in the world right. They are some of the best shooters in the world right now. And to see them overcome the limitations of their game, that whole you live by the three, you die by the three kind of thought process is incredible. Clippers, Memphis, this is all about coaching for me. Vinny Del Negro has not adjusted at all to what the Memphis Grizzlies changed in their game plan from Game 2 to Game 3. He's not, he could play a small lineup with a Crawford, Bledsoe, Paul, Barnes, and then maybe Blake Griffin at center. He could do that and mix things up. Not doing it. He could play, Grant Hill at the 4. That's the guy he has on his bench. Not doing it. You could get Billups involved in that small ball lineup. He has a lot of small ball options. He's not using it. So, to me, I think the Grizzlies will win Game 6, and I think they'll finish up this series. And to me, it's all about Vinny Del Negro not changing up the game plan. But on the Memphis side of things, I really liked what I saw from Zach Randolph last night. He looked like the old Zebo from 2 postseasons ago when he beat the Spurs. And if they get that Zach Randolph, there's no reason why they can't win this conference. So, and of course, Marc Gasol, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite players in the league. I mean, he just does everything for you, man. He's the best defensive player in the league. He can shoot open jumpers. He's a great passer. He's a great rebounder. He knows how to play off people. You can't beat Marc Gasol right now. Obviously LeBron James should win the MVP every year for the rest of his life in all likelihood, but Marc Gasol, he plays like somebody who could be an MVP, and I definitely consider him to be underappreciated. And finally, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Rockets with games going on right now. I'm going to go check it out in a bit here. The Westbrook news saddened me because they were, in my opinion, the one team that had any chance at all of pushing Miami to a 7th game. I would have said Denver could have if they had Gallinari, but they don't. So, to me, that pretty much ended any chance of there being a Miami upset at some point in this postseason. And, him to get hurt on a meaningless, stupid play, it's too bad, but I'm telling you, it's going to be entertaining. Maybe not good, but it will be entertaining to watch Kevin Durant get to shoot 40 shots a night. And I really think that's where we're headed because I'm not feeling the Reggie Jackson thing. I don't think he's there yet. So that's going to be fun. It might not produce a winning team that goes all the way to the finals and wins it, but it will be fun. And that's all I can say about that, but very tragic. And I'll make more videos as the situation allows it, but to give you my new predictions on the series that are still going, I like the Pacers in 7, I like the Bulls in 6, I like the Knicks in 7, I like the Thunder in 5, winning tonight, and I like the Warriors in 6 and the Grizzlies in 6. See ya.